Top of the morning to you. We come to you from Marietta, Georgia, 18 miles from that beautiful picture you see of downtown Atlanta, Georgia. Toronto and Seattle, they're kicking off round 5. That is Colin Holly, former USA Eagle. My name is Ben Holden. Great to be with you here to get round 5 going, Colin. And for Seattle, they get their first win last week. Toronto, they hung in the game with the unbeaten Giltinis, but in the end were blown out. What's the big picture for you in this matchup between these two clubs here today?
Yeah, big game for both teams today. For Seattle in particular, it's about game management, getting into their territory, converting to points, managing the set pieces. That's going to be huge for them. On the other side, Toronto, it's playing 80 minutes. They had a couple good halves, but putting together a full picture in an 80-minute game, playing their pattern throughout the entire game, that's where they're going to actually focus on today.
Well, I'm just going to get this out of the way. You and I met about an hour ago. You're an offensive guy. We know that. And I know that you're really impressed with this group that Toronto has. Who stands out here for their forwards today?
Obviously, it's number 7, Rumble. This guy's got the most steals at the breakdown in the MLR entirely. Canadian international, this guy's going to be leading from the front, shooting off those set pieces, off those scrums, and making it hectic for Seattle's attack.
To the aforementioned offense, from the backs, so who do you like amongst Toronto's group? Who should we watch today?
I'm liking number 13, Lesage. I mean, this guy's on the 13 position. He's going to be holding the corner on defense, but he's also going to be there trying to break the midfield on the outside. This guy's going to have a big game.
For Seattle, like Toronto, a couple of tweaks to their lineup. You love the 6, 7, and 8 line for them here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at this back row. You got a bunch of big bodies out there, led by number 7, Andrew Duratalo, in my opinion. Had a great game against Utah, great set-piece try. Talked to him yesterday. It's about game management for him, getting over the ball. So it's a battle of the 7s today, but also don't leave out Mike Shepard at number 2. He's going to have to go and hit those throws. So set pieces is key for Seattle.
Among their backs, who do you like there? The 9-10 is always critical. Is it more critical today for Seattle?
Absolutely more critical. You got number 10, Joyce, earning the 10 fly-up position jersey again. Traditionally a number 12. He had 16 tackles in the last game, but he has a bit of consistency. So it's the 9 and Ferris, their connection there, but also Seaman, the back line. He's back in action. Having him in the deep 3, marshaling those guys around. Having a cool head back there is going to be huge.
All right, so those are the men that will get after it to start the match. Again, a couple of tweaks for each team. You see the reserves that they have lined up for this match here today between Toronto and Seattle. And these two teams, all-time 2-2. It's the Ontario guys, the Western Canadian guys. Always a great rivalry as you see the two head coaches as they get ready for this one. We'll kick it off from Marietta, Georgia, right after this. And welcome back. Getting set to go here from Life University, and want to let you know today's match is brought to you by Honda. Early start here, getting going at 10:30 Eastern time at Life University. The Toronto Arrows, they are playing on the road this season, a home game for them in Atlanta. And Colin, we talked about the 2 7s. Here's a deeper breakdown of Rumble and Duratalo.
Yeah, you got the USA International Andrew Duratalo to the Canadian International Lucas Rumble, and look at these guys, both playing the 7 open side flanker positions. Rumble owning the breakdown steals with 10 leading the MLR. Andrew Duratalo finding his form. There's the big man right there. Played 7s and 15s for the USA Eagles. He's looking to find his form here. Had a great opening try off a lineout against Utah. He's excited. Talked to him last night. He just said it's all about game management. They want to win the set pieces, and they really think the mall is somewhere where they can really excel.
All right, we'll keep our eyes on those areas. You see our match official, J.P. Doyle, wearing the microphone. In essence, our third member of our broadcast team here today for this match. Seattle in their traditional colors, and we welcome those that are watching
when you're ready, guys.
On Root Sports and in the Great White North up in Canada on TSN2, and of course on the Rugby Network. In round 5 MLR is underway here. Both these teams with 1 victory on the season.
Come on,
everything good so far to start here.
Stand behind the ball, please.
And sent away with the boot up near the halfway line, and up to play that nicely right at the line with Seattle.
That's hard to do. First off the beat here, catching that box kick, laddering up, grabbing it. Great job by Seattle. Both teams testing each other out right now.
So you mentioned Rumble, number 7. Keep our eyes on him, and we got a whistle and a penalty called here.
This is exactly what Toronto wants to do. With the breakdown happening at the contact area, it's not just enough to make the tackle, it's getting back on your feet, get your hands over that ball, and be an absolute pest on the breakdown to slow the ball down against Seattle and get these turnovers. This is an early sign of one of their strategies of owning that breakdown in contact area.
Toronto, as this one goes into touch, last week they were in that matchup against LA, they were at one point it was 10-9. They were down 17-9 at the half. They had a yellow late in the first half, and that really cost them a 21-0 run in the second half. Keys to victory brought to us today by Wafed Bank, Colin.
Yeah, dominate the breakdown. As you just saw, they want to get over the ball, own that contact area, but maintain their defensive shape. Conceding too many points. I think they're tied in last place with San Diego right now, so their defensive shape is absolutely pivotal, but play 80 minutes. They put in some good halves, but they need to go ahead and play the full 80.
And for Seattle, what do you feel they've got to do today?
They got a bunch of guys that can carry the rock. They need to carry the rock well, and it's got to end well. They got to land and in that contact area, get that ball back. You saw that turnover of Toronto. That's because support's got to be there, blowing out that contact area. Game management is key.
Very good. Those are our keys brought to us by Wafed Bank today. Toronto inside of Seattle territory. Dugout spun back. And the offload there, and a nice tackle made by Seattle, stopping the ball carrier in his tracks. Now Tyler Rowan had the ball there. Spun out, and the Arrows got a little bit of space here up the middle. They've got an opportunity, and they're going to take it in. As Tucolette takes it in for the try in the 3rd minute of the match, and Toronto is on top by a score of 5-0.
Tucolette just getting that spot ball out the back. It was great continuity by Toronto. They were just going through the phases. Support was there, but they had some forerunners running up and blocking that pass. Tucolette was out the back. I mean, this guy's just a seasoned professional, international experience. Just finds that ball and the split in the defense and the Seattle defensive line. He just strides right through. Early, great play by Toronto, getting that turnover at the breakdown, turning it over from Seattle, coming down, winning the line out, and running through the phases and finding the spot ball. I mean, that's impressive stuff from Toronto in the first 3 minutes of this match, finding some form early.
And the flags are up. The conversion is good. Put up and through the post by Taylor Adams. Here's a look back, Colin.
All right, quick ball from 9. Support's there over the ball, right out to the 10. And look at that, 2 forwards running in there. And the spot ball at the back. He's run this a couple of times. Spot ball, you got 2 forward runners in front, taking out the defenders. Then you got a backline player sweeping in from behind and then finding that little bit of a gap and getting it under the post. That's a great play. It's something that they run in their continuity game. They've done it 1,000 times, and they're really looking to be on form right now early on.
So the Arrows will get it right back here. You mentioned defensively 122 points they've conceded. That is tied for the most in MLR with the San Diego Legion. The 12th try Toronto has scored this season offensively, now up to 101 points. They were middle of the pack offensively out of the 12 teams in MLR coming in. Sent skyward, played here by Riekert Hatting. And Toronto likes the turn of events here.
So that's Toronto's exit strategy. They get a nice boot coming off the scrum half. It's getting high up there, but, you know, Hatting back there, Riekert needs to go ahead and take that pill. You know, early on, you just got to get ladder up and get this ball. It's part of their exit strategy. They're going to go to it time and time again. Just 2 early mistakes from Seattle, the turnover on that kick and also the turnover of the breakdown. Toronto's looking to go ahead and get this ball back, and they're looking to play.
They sure are, and a well-executed start here from the Toronto Arrows. Head coach Chris Silverthorne.
Looks like Big Mike Shepard got a little scratch across. Come on. Little bug right there. Little early action for him, getting in the engine room.
A little flesh wound to start the day.
Great thing about Mike Shepard, played All-Americans with him. He's got a singing voice like Fergie, I'll tell you right now.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
The things you learn, and I learn every week doing this sport with you guys.
It's a combination of Jesus and Fergie right there.
Understood. Product of Brownsburg, Indiana is Shepard. And it goes over to Toronto, and they play it on the run, the Arrows. A good start out of them. Spun into the hands of Tucolette. He's got the try for him. Good tackle around the ankles. Turned in there by Tom Avena. spun to the back. Nearly taken away by Seattle, but Toronto maintains. Now it is taken away by Seattle.
Knock on by Seattle, but there was big Andrew Duratalo nearly picking that thing off. Season number 7 there, trying to get an early turnover, but
yeah, if you're on the ground, you're in trouble.
You got Shepard getting the explanation there from JP Doyle.
Take another look
you got to
here.
hit, hold, and wait for the ball.
And those are the kind of the balls you're waiting to look for. Guy drifting across the field, throwing this no-look pass, the little lucky thing. You just hit right through the gap. Drew, 7s and 15s, international experience. He's been all over the pitch. He can play it all.
Toronto with the scrum here. They came in 90%. 7th out of 12 in MLR.
Positive. Use it away, Toronto.
They work it to the back. Short side of the field.
Oh, great tackle. Great break tackle.
Well done there on the break there indeed. Turned in there by Parfrey. And a nice play ahead up the near side. And they're close to that 5-meter.
Toronto playing adventurous rugby, going weak side, open field kick pass, and they kept retention. Here we go, Toronto.
Nick Rogers took it in there. He was the one tackled, and the ruck ensued. Now they spin it outside, and a turnover, and right into the hands of Seattle, into the hands of Matt Turner.
Step, go back. No, it's not.
Matt Turner, ex-England player for 7s, played against him on the circuit. This guy is an absolute consummate professional. He can go ahead and read those things. He's been around the game forever, but great turnover right when the team needed it. Matt Turner coming in and stepping up.
Turner playing in the number 14 spot this week without J.P. Smith, who we're all thinking of him. He had that hard shot where his head went off the back of the pitch last week, and they put Ben Seam at the 15, who we talked about in the open when we went through our lineups. So a line-out coming up here for the Arrows, on top 7-0 in the 8th minute of the match. Arrows have possession of it. Nicely done there. Breaking one tackle was Ross Brody. Oh, nice play. Great offload there. And a give and go play, and they're going to take in another one here. Toronto has come out razor sharp, and that is Ben Lesage who takes it in for the try, and the Arrows are on top 12-0.
That is absolutely class rugby by the Arrows. I mean, Seattle just, getting caught on their heels here. Toronto playing just unconscious right now. I mean, their moves that are happening, this is stuff you see later on in the game, not in the first 10 minutes. But there was a great play on the outside. The ball kind of kept moving. I think the wing broke through, but it was the inside ball coming back in. So the play's moving to the right. You have your inside support right there, and he just beat the inside defender, gave that inside ball. He found the gap and went straight through. And it's all about breaking that defensive line, whether it's on the outside or following that inside line and finding a little gap. That was absolutely great play, great presence of mind to find that person back on the inside. It's usually like a hot line. Somebody yells hot, you just dip that thing back inside, they find that little gap.
Well done as Taylor Adams is on once again for another conversion. And Taylor Adams sends the flag skyward, and a 14-0 start for Toronto here, Colin.
Yeah, another spot ball at the back, a dummy forward runner, and that was the spot ball at the back. The wing was just trailing. And then Lesage on the outside, support scores tries. He just runs on the outside, doesn't let the winger go alone, but he comes and follows him on the outside, and that pitch back inside, and he gets the try. But well worked by the Toronto Arrows with the beginning block runner by the forward. They find the back line out the back, then that inside ball, and then the support. It's great continuity from the Arrows right now.
So this early start right now is playing well into the favor of the Toronto Arrows. They get that try from their captain, the 25-year-old out of Calgary, Ben Lesage. And now the response here, Colin, is everything for the Seattle Seawolves. Winners last week by 5 against Utah. We'll see their response here.
You know, it just seems like Seattle's a little bit sleepy right now. I mean, literally, Toronto had a couple sublime rugby plays right there that usually don't happen when people are finding their feet, finding their form the first 20 minutes. But Toronto literally came out guns blazing. So Seattle, 2 early turnovers. This is their first time having a bit of possession here in Toronto end. Let's see what they can do with it.
They drag down the big redhead, George Barton, a British Columbia product. Now Sema didn't play last week in their match against Utah, attending the wedding of his brother.
Never held in the tackle, not complete.
Good job here charging forward by Kieran Joyce. Tackle, ruck, dug out, spun back. Head down. Your guy Mike Shepard already bloodied and battered early on here in the 11th minute of this match.
In the engine room, just getting a bunch of hard work done already.
Yeah, Barton, he is a load to handle and take down as they get the maul going here, Colin.
This is one of the places where they thought they could really excel in this game is the maul, but it looks like the Arrows might have gotten a turnover.
It appears that way.
Hey, come here.
Tay, come down, come down.
Come here.
Class is in session.
Yeah, here we go.
Calm down, Tay. All good? All good, Tay. All good, bro.
Here's a look back.
Don't be a jerk.
Yeah, just a bit of a scrap in there. The mauls where Seattle thought they were going to have a bit of an advantage here, and just a turnover getting it in there. But that's another turnover for Seattle. So 3 times they've had possession, 3 times they turned it over. Once off the exit strategy, the box kick, the turnover from Hatting, and then the turnover in the breakdown. You know, it's just one of those things where game management for Seattle, that's one of the big things, is maintaining possession of the ball, making sure your support is there. So it's finding their form here, making sure when they get in Toronto territory, part of the game management is coming away with points, whether it be 3 from the kick or a try, and they need to start going ahead and putting that together.
Come on, son.
Okay. I wouldn't push you with the resets with me. Yeah, I got to stay higher, and you got to stay over your mark. Take more pressure. Yes, sir. You got to stay over the mark.
So there's the word from J.P. Doyle, and of course, if you're new to the sport this year, they tweaked some laws. In one of those areas, the scrums, you only get 2 opportunities to do it properly, or there's a penalty assessed.
Yeah. One of the great mysteries for a backline player is what actually happens in the scrum.
You have no idea.
No, I mean, most of the time, there's like, make sure you don't play in the front. Now, these are the boys that get it done. They set the platform for the rest of the team. Without winning the set pieces, you don't have a chance in the match.
That one collapsed, and Toronto's got the pill back here.
Just the guy in the ground has to be able to get up.
As we come up on the 13th minute here, and it's a 14-0 lead for the Toronto Arrows. 5th time these 2 franchises have gotten together. I want to remind you today that Puma is the official boot of the Arrows.
Nice job by Turner, tapping that thing in, not going to touch. He's dangerous on the counterattack.
He sure is. And a big chunk of real estate picked up there. Skyward with a left boot, not very far out near the halfway line.
That's a number 12 naturally kicking the ball at number 10. You know, Joyce stepping in there, earning that 10 jersey, but naturally playing the inside center position.
Hey, come here, 4.
Whistle back behind the play. It sounded like a high tackle was called there by J.P. Doyle.
Don't behave like
So we'll reset here, and we'll take a look back here, Colin.
Hooker. Jack.
Yeah, just a tackle over the top.
I'm not happy with you guys at scrum time either.
Pardon me?
I'm not happy with you guys at scrum time either.
Understood, yeah, we'll fix it.
Get up, get steady, get over the mark. Get up.
One of many things I love about this sport, right there, there's no question. You know exactly what the referee's laying down and he's setting the tone in this match.
I'm not happy with
Playing the referee.
I'm not happy with them at scrum time either, okay? We got to improve it.
So playing the referee and knowing the referee and how he has his cadences, what he wants in the match is pivotal. The captain's relationship with the referee, he's got so much of his fingerprint on the game. You have to respect him. You have to let it say, thank you, sir, yes, sir, and go on and actually make the adjustments. Otherwise, he's going to ding you, and you're going to have some of your players sitting in the naughty chair for the sin pin for a couple minutes.
So Seattle comes away with it here as Toronto is inside of the 22, and it's kicked into touch here.
What's wrong with that?
Looked like Seema took a shot, kicked that into the touch. He was just like, hey, what's wrong here? Here he is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nothing wrong there.
Take the black line.
And look at that, just slapping hands and picking each other up. That's the sport of rugby right there, ladies and gents at home. They're battling each other out inside the pitch of the lines, but afterwards they're sharing beers.
That was Ben Lesage who helped up the opposition there. Seema, now the arrows off the line out. They have been very good here with a 14-0 lead.
You see that a couple of times now. Toronto is definitely running that block runner. A runner in front of the line blocking the people in front, and then a sneaky guy coming out the back and trying to exploit that gap. It's something they've run at least 3 times already today, so that's something they have in their toolbox that's working out for them right now.
Offside called there.
Hey, 4. You're beginning to annoy me now.
Words you never want to hear.
So he's got a target on his back for the rest of the match.
And he's talking to Rhino Herbst, their second rower, number 4 there.
That's never what you want to hear is the ref like, hey, you're getting on my nerves. Like, what did I do?
I want better scrimmaging.
Oh, no.
Bring them in. I want them.
So we're going to get a penalty kick here.
Taking the engagement and staying over the mark.
Higher, take the hit, stay over the
Go talk to them. It's important.
There's the message you mentioned to the captain, Lucas Rumble, who's going to relay that to his guys. And Taylor Adams is going to tee one up here and try and extend this to a 17-0 lead.
It's been all Toronto, a lot of turnovers from Seattle. They had a bit of territory over there, and they turned it over in the mall, one of the areas they thought they were going to have an advantage. But Toronto just doing a great job of running some really cool continuity plays, winning their set piece, and maintaining possession. I mean, the whole thing is like, can they do it for 80?
Here's Adams, who came in to this match and into the weekend as he sticks it between the posts. He was second, tied for second in MLR with 5 penalty kicks, so make it 6 now. How surprised are you, Colin Holly? 17-0 Toronto at this point. Are you surprised?
I'm absolutely very surprised right now. Seattle coming against a very strong physical Utah team and getting that victory last week. You know, coming in, it just seems like Seattle hasn't found their form yet, and I hope they do before they have too big of a mountain to climb to get out of this hole.
Won a low-scoring affair last week, 20-15, defeating Utah, but they've really had nothing sustained to this point inside of Toronto's half of the pitch. This one booted up high, drifting over the halfway line, and then bobbled and turned over, and Toronto's got it. Came right into the hands of Rumble, who gave it off to Manuel Diana.
That's the second turnover by Hadding. With that box kick, he's really got to figure out how to get that pill, because just like that, Toronto is now attacking in Seattle territory.
Gaston Mirez trying to create the veteran. Seattle was offside there.
Leave it, Blue. Blue, roll away. Blue, roll away.
Quite a battle, and it finally came free, and it's spun back by Devereaux Ferris. Booted away by Seema.
That's a great kick. A little bit of a squirrely bounce there.
Yeah, the egg shape was just that in that sequence. Arrows have it again. Already on the sheet is Tukale. He's got a try of their first try.
Nice hit by Shep.
Yeah. Not much there.
I'm back.
So this is part of Toronto's exit strategy. They're going to use the forwards, see if they get something going, get a little go for it. But now you see him rolling it back. He's going to do that box kick again. They got to maintain. They got to get up and get this ball in the air and maintain possession here. Seema does a good job getting it down. They need support over the top.
Leave it now, Blue. Toronto. Matt, put him down, Matt. Good lad, thank you.
Matt Turner had a player up in the air there, as you heard J.P. Doyle give him a little word of wisdom there.
Go, go, go.
Seattle back to Hatting. Not much there for the big South African. Barton now. Turner broke a tackle. Turner gets away. And he is finally dropped there on a big pickup there for Seattle.
That's the veteran finding a moment, breaking through the line, getting a little go-forward ball momentum for Seattle. And here's some danger.
To the outside. And coming over to make the tackle there was Patrick Parfrey. Seattle, deepest they've penetrated Toronto territory to this point, into the hands of their hooker, Mike Shepard.
Now this is Seattle finding their shape. You can see they had runners taking on the line and Hatting again, another knock-on from him. That's 3 on the day in the first 20 from the big 8-man.
Not normally what you see out of Riekert Hatting, indeed.
Good work.
Thank you. Okay.
Riekert, generally, he is one of the best 8s you can have back there.
They're not just scrimmaging well enough.
Every once in a while, you got a case of the bobbles. Looks like he's got the first 20 minutes, but
you have to be
it's definitely hurting the squad.
You're going to stay head above hips, and if they go back, you go forward. But you can't go on the ground.
Is that water break?
All right? It's water break, but you're going too low.
Once again, JP Doyle very invested in this match. Talking about these teams. And the hydration break is hit here.
Really good rolling away at the tackle.
19:07 has expired in the match so far.
Just whether you get the body or whether you get the ball.
And it's all Toronto. We'll step aside with the arrows up 17-0.
Okay.
Yep. Good picture.
It's all about waiting for the ball. That's all, lads.
Midway through this first half, and Valley Shine Distillery, home of Benjamin's Bourbon, the best experienced in person. ValleyShineDistillery.com. Hashtag Together We Shine.
Bind.
Good to have you with us here as we get the weekend in round 5 underway. Toronto and Seattle, a pair of teams, each with just one victory. The scrum is on and played to the back and booted away by Toronto.
Well, that's a big kick.
Set up.
That's well done. So part of this, getting within your own 22 and getting out of your red zone. We call that the exit strategy. It's having good kickers. You've seen a couple box kicks from the 9. That's one way to get out of your own territory. Another one is having somebody that literally with the leg can pump it all the way to halfway, which is awesome to relieve pressure.
So here's Shepard on the line out, played up to Herbst there, and now Seattle. The offload there, and some room here, and Duratalo, he is dropped, but he got rid of the ball. Seattle trying to get something going here and get on the board. Barton fakes it. Down inside. Oh, taken away. Taken away by Lesage.
It was a great set-piece play. You saw Andrew Duratalo lining up in the back line. He just broke through the midfield, but you got to have ball security when you go into the tackle. You can't go high. You can't have that pill in front of your face because the guys are going to ball hawk it and just took it away like candy from a baby.
Approaching a handful of turnovers like that for Seattle to this point of the match.
Early mistakes from Seattle, definitely things that they can clean up to find their shape, but they are just taking a little bit longer to minimize these execution mistakes, the ball security mistakes, and Toronto is absolutely taking advantage of it.
Jack McRogers, guilty of the penalty there for Toronto.
Because
big
they have to clear the number 2, he's able to turn the ball over.
I think part of it too, I talked to Peter Tiberio, USA 7s and 15s, man. He was part of the Seattle squad in years prior. He just let me know that the team has gone through a bit of an injury bug in the front row and the back line. So this team is definitely kind of coming together.
How many plays?
As a team is finding their form with playing with each other. They've been kind of having to rotate players in and out for Seattle. So finding their form, having Shepard come in and hit these line-up throws with different folks in the mix, it's definitely a challenge for Seattle they're going to have to overcome in this match and this season.
Spun in from the line out by Shepard. Maul set up here for Seattle.
That's one sideways. Use it away. Come on, use it. No, went sideways twice. Move it away.
There you hear JP Doyle telling him went sideways, use it. Spun into the middle. Down close as they've been to that try line.
It's a penalty against Blue 7. We're reversing it for neck roll, lads, okay?
So that's a call on Rumble there.
You got to let me referee. It's a neck roll.
Well done, boys. Good play.
Okay, we have
So taking a look at this, you're not allowed to clear people out of the ruck by their neck.
7, okay?
Now take a look at it. 7 coming in here. And right there, it looks like Shepard wrapped his arms around Rumble's neck and pulled his neck off the top. Before, you know, we had this rule in there. You could kind of hit there and hit him between the shoulder blades, grab him by the chin, and work the neck off of it. But that's definitely unsafe play. Rugby, you know, players and administrators want to keep this game safe. You can't pull somebody out of the ruck around the neck. You got to get the arms or rotate around the torso. You see it right here again. So good job by the referee for keeping the game safe and maintaining, you know, the structure that we want to see here.
Good of the lifter.
Good camera work there too. That last angle you saw it very clearly as Colin described so well for you.
But then again, Seattle, they're right knocking on the door, and here we go, Toronto getting out of jail.
Lineouts have gone the way of Toronto, as have pretty much all the numbers and key numbers so far in this match.
You can see how big continuity is here now, maintaining possession through the phases. So Toronto's been maintaining possession while Seattle's been turning the ball over in their end. And also Toronto's been coming away with points when they're in the territory of Seattle, and Seattle hasn't. So this is the tale of the story right now, of converting with territory and maintaining possession.
The offload there from Duchel.
Onside Toronto.
Toronto gets onside, spun to the back by Seattle. Play a little territory here, and Toronto will handle it.
Up and under, got to get up.
And a tough play.
Off the legs.
And it came free to the arrows. Brody gets it out of there.
Onside.
Brody again.
Get back. 10, don't chase.
Little chip and chase here, and trying to make a play there was Taylor Adams, just could not get to it.
Double.
Take another look at this here. This is the high up and under, right? 15 has to come up. He tried to ladder up and put his arms above his head to reach above it. He's already got position. You got to throw your knees out there. You can't hit him in the air. An opposite player can jump up and grab it. But as you get up in the air, you got to ladder up, get your knee out there, and get this ball. Getting above your head in that scenario is a bit tough and a little unnecessary, which is why he might have had a trouble bringing that ball in. But again, another turnover, a kick to a turnover in Toronto, looking to capitalize.
They sure are. 17-0 lead in this match for the Arrows. 1-3, came in with 6 points, last in the East. Tied with Old Glory with 6, 3 back of New England and Nola Gold. Starting play today, and fair to say, Colin, this is the first match of the weekend, a 10:30 start. And if you're wondering why it's such an early start time, it was originally a noon start. There are other events at Life University today in Marietta, Georgia, that are coming up later today, and they need to get in the COVID era and clean and make sure it's safe. So both teams are fine with it. So far, Toronto's, they've been real fine with it, leading 17-0.
Definitely looking stronger of the two right now, finding their form early in this match, and they got a 17-0 lead that Seattle's got to figure out a way to dig themselves out of.
They do, and they have knocked on the door 2 or 3 times as Turner goes up the plate, and waiting for him right there was Tommy De La Vega.
Toronto is really using that up and under kick. It's a high kick. It's not your. Usually you want to drill it to the corners if you want territory. Those high kicks is for your kick chase to come down and put pressure on that person having to ladder up. They've had 3 turnovers on it already. It's been something that's been working out for Toronto.
Use it. Get onside. No.
Is it more so in your mind mishandling of the ball by Seattle, or is it more so what Toronto's doing defensively?
It's a bit of both, right? So
You're out of time now.
I mean, there's nothing harder than having a ball that's been hanging in the air like this for 5 seconds than having to jump up while teams are coming in there. There's nothing stopping a player from running full speed and jumping up and colliding with you in the air. They just can't tackle you when they're on their feet. So it's one of the hardest things in rugby to do when you're sitting back there as fullback and you can't fair catch it. You got to ladder up and you got to get that thing.
It amazes me watching these athletes do what they do.
Number 2, thank you.
The ability in the air is impressive by so many of these players.
That is a great exit kick there. And that's why you want Seaman in the back. He goes ahead and fields that kick, sets himself behind the 22, and pumps it at halfway. That's exactly why he's wearing that 15 jersey. And this relieves some pressure, it settles down the game for Seattle, and gets another nice platform so they can start again.
Line out here, it'll be triggered by Jack McRogers. Well executed, spun back by Brody. Adams gave it off now. And a nice offload there, and Tukale with a nice offload as well. And the arrow's on the move, and the arrow's Brody, and he is gonna second effort.
Reached out.
Wow.
Tackles made, reached out.
Brody.
Look at the skill line now split.
Okay,
There's no way, like I'm reaching on.
All right, okay, fair enough. Okay.
Gets it done in Toronto between the post, Colin, and the arrows. They're shooting it straight today, 24-0 on the try by Ross Brody.
I mean, it starts with Massage, right? The 13 going around the corner. We talked about at the beginning of this match, and just breaking open the game right there on the corner of the defense for Seattle. I mean, that just one-on-one tackling, man-on-man, beating the opposite around the corner and having a bit of show and go. But then it's the crazy support from Toronto afterwards. It's like everybody, once the line breaks, nobody's watching him break the line. That's something you coach with the players in practice. Sometimes you need to watch him go and have him make the break. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
There it is, breaking the inside opposite the 12, and then the 15 coming out the outside in support. You got the winger, both wingers on the outside in support, and the 9. I mean, just look at that. Support scores tries in rugby. Line breaks aren't the only thing, isn't the only thing you need, and Toronto is on fire.
Mirez with that last offload, getting it into the hands of Ross Brody to extend this to a 24-0 lead here in the 30th minute of the match.
What we'll do on their ball is we'll just tighten the gap up, okay? The gap's too big, I think. We'll tighten the gap up.
Seattle just looks a little shell-shocked right now. I mean, Toronto came out, the aggressor. They're more clinical in their execution. Seattle's just got to fire up right now and get physical and start bringing the fight.
And it's mishandled here, and Toronto's got it again.
Here we go, turnover to Toronto, and they want it. Nice chip through.
12,
Yep, well done. Can they get to it? No.
13.
Played on the back there by Seaman. He's ridden out of bounds into touch there by 2 Toronto arrows.
Nice gift by Seattle. 13 was offsides. You got to be behind the kicker. Once he kicks the ball, looks like he was in front of him. So you got to stop your forward progress and wait for the kicker to kind of get in front of you. But here we go, Seattle, with 10 minutes left to play in this first half, they've got to get on the board. They've had some territory, they're knocking on the door on the goal line. This is something they have got to do right now, is get physical, maintain possession, nail this line out, and get some points on the board.
You mentioned the territory. Coming in, there was no better team than Seattle in terms of territory in the league. They were at almost 58% in that department. Here's the rolling ball. They're trying to get it set up by the Seawolves.
It's testament to Toronto, what they've been doing on attack.
Sure is.
9, you got to move it.
Here's the ball.
Yep.
9, I'm giving you time. Move it away.
You hear JP Doyle. Toronto gets it again, Colin.
Oh man, and then you see Drew right there, the big sigh on his face. He's just, I know that they wanted to win lineouts, they wanted to execute, they got that done. Then they thought the ball was going to be the area.
Get out of there. Get out of there.
A little frustration going on here, and obviously Seattle a little frustrated. Toronto being the aggressors, they want to assert their dominance and, you know, step on the throats a little bit here, and that's just what you got to do.
So why are you doing that?
Sure.
How about you play your game for the blue team?
Yes, sir.
See that? Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Smart man. Smart man right there.
The young man, just 23 years young, out of New Brunswick.
That's it. Let's get it back now. Go, boys.
I admire you for taking on the big guy and stuff, but...
Come on, Eric. With the pressure on the signal.
But then again, here we go. Seattle giving up another turnover, knocking on the door 5 meters out. This is the story of the first half for the Seawolves.
Down.
Toronto 24-0 going to be a big hole to get out of. But hopefully Seattle right now can put some pressure on and get this ball back before half.
Great look inside of that scrum, about as close as you can get with our cameras.
Nice, Cam. Get up.
Brody. All he had there, sends it skyward.
God, that's just a great kick. I mean, you won't find many better than that. Deep in your 22, box kick, almost out to the halfway. I mean, it just does an amazing amount for your team to relieve that much pressure instead of just one that's straight on the 22. I mean, Seattle's got a lot of road territory to make up from that one.
They sure do.
We'll just stop for Andrew.
Line out upcoming with Shepard. Set to trigger that once we get situated here.
You okay, Drew?
And there is Drew Duratalo.
You done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's take a look back here, see if we can determine what happened.
Put him back in his box. Look, I admire him for taking on the big fella.
Andrew right there, hobbling on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unlucky for the big man.
Hold on,
I know.
hold on.
Chatted with him last night. They just got done with the pool session, you know, trying to get the recovery, and he said the travel was pretty brutal.
If
you're
They're
happy,
getting
yeah.
over there. And, you know, when you're traveling, you got jet lag, and you're on the plane, inflammation is big. So all that stuff is part of the whole traveling and winning that interval and coming to play, you know, a game like rugby on the pitch. So hope the big man's going to be doing all right.
Still 10 to him. He was a member of the Olympic team in 2016. You mentioned
changes slot. You got to move the ball.
Teammates with you on a couple of different occasions.
I mean, the guy's pretty impressive, right? We're 7 on his back, but as a 7s international, the guy can carry through the field. I mean, his fitness is incredible. The guy's calves are bigger than most guys' thighs, you know. So, I mean, he's just an incredible human being, and he's one of the leaders on this team.
Yeah.
Great representative for the game of rugby. And just hope he's going to be all right. Big loss for Seattle having him out of the match.
Yeah, well, check him out. That right leg clearly favoring him. Take him off with a little more than 32 minutes expired in this match.
Give yourself room, Seattle. Give yourself room.
Toronto on top.
Nice ball.
Tries already. Nice ball. Spun to the back into the middle of the pitch. Barton gave it off. And
a little bit of a car crash there in the midfield. Here we go.
That's Tommy Clark into the match. Number 20 for Seattle.
Onside.
Looks like Seattle going back in the tackle a bit. Toronto being the aggressors, launching an aggressive defensive lineup.
Seattle, they've been inside that 5 meter on a couple of different occasions, but
get out of there quickly.
they've turned it over. Miscues have haunted them so far in this match.
Stay up 9, well done. Ben.
So as a team, if you keep on going backwards on your attack, it's Toronto's coming up and, you know, launching hits, you're not getting any territory. That's when the 15s and 10s are looking to go ahead and get a kick in and put it behind them. You're not getting any go for it. Just like this, it's like, okay, let's go ahead and punt this ball because we're going backwards and see if we can turn them around. Could be an option here because they just got to get something going to break the line.
Get off it.
Waiting for the ball carrier right there. Spun to the back. Seattle looking for some room here. Not much there. Dropped was Ross Neal.
Yes.
Played back by Ferris. Yeah, you said it.
Well, we talked about Toronto, and the keys to the match is the defensive shape. You can see it right now. The defensive line not breaking, but them launching as a unit. And here's the kick I was talking about. Seattle just getting driven back 20 meters by the Toronto defense and just gave the ball back.
That was Ferris with the kick as they release the pressure. Montero with the ball for Toronto.
And again. It's not my first week doing this. Yeah, I know. Okay. Let me do it.
I mean, just a quick chat. Hey, not my first week, pal. I get what I'm doing here.
The beauty of live television, right?
Oh, my gosh.
I love it.
Yeah, the banner between the referees and players sometimes gets a little colorful, and it's one of the fun parts of the game is being plugged into the referee because his voice and his interpretation of the game matters so much. He's given so much information to the players, what to do, what not to do, how to improve upon the game. Just really lucky to be tuned into this guy here and hearing a little bit from the horse's mouth.
Scrum set up here for Seattle.
Sit.
Steady. No!
Ferris spins it in.
Yeah, break left, connecting, I'm connecting.
Spins it back. Now Barton with it.
Nice line.
Very nice. Over the halfway line, Seattle. We've been here before, but they've been denied inside of that 5 a couple of times.
So it's right there, the continuity part of the game and game management. That's the contact area that Toronto wants to mess up. You saw the ball scored out to the left. That's because the folks inside of that breakdown are making it a mess. They're making mayhem in there and having to peel this guy out because he's holding on with his fingertips. You gotta pull me off this guy from my cold dead fingers to get me out of here. And that's the mentality that Toronto has to own that breakdown area.
To your point, we look back at that last sequence.
It looks like it was just a little bit of a mishap from the ruck coming out there. And that's literally just execution, being clinical at the breakdown. You have to target the area of the ball, get over the top of that thing, and make sure that they can place the ball so your scrum half can have a clean placement to get the ball out to the next runners.
Second row ready.
Toronto scrum upcoming.
Seconds.
Get on the outside.
Big push.
Crouch.
Down. Good.
Bind. Sit.
1, 2, 3, squeeze.
Brody waits on the backside, was taken out of there instead by Manuel Diana. Some room up the far side of the pitch. Montero with it. Out of the ruck it comes, into the hands now of Cole Keith, the youngster up front.
No. No advantage because you came in. No advantage because you came in. 4 high tackles.
It was Rumble he was talking to there.
You're killing your own team by doing that.
Yeah, the wrist got it. We're not used to hitting the wrist.
Looks like there was a high tackle called. Rumble coming in there at the back end. Not sure what he did, but the referee being like, you're killing your team when you come in there. Yeah, he's just a bulldog out there. It's hard to rein it in when you're getting ready, getting the water to boil. You got to heat that thing up and get there. So there's the high tackle. We talked about it earlier. Nothing around the neck, nothing above the shoulders here.
The gap is too big, and that's causing it to be worse. Toronto, you got to come tighter on the gap. It's more than a meter is too much. So come tighter. Wait. Come tighter.
So a massive line out here for Toronto. I mean, they're back in,
2 meters.
knocking on the door here again, Colin, as we approach the end of this first half.
That missed the line out, so.
Good stuff. Come on, boys. Let's go.
Doesn't look like that ball was straight.
You missed.
And a turnover to Seattle. I mean, missed opportunity to Toronto. And that might be a key thing of what the coach was talking about, playing 80 minutes, right? They had an opportunity here to get another 7 or at least 5 on the board here at the end. And just a really easy throw. Contest wasn't there, not getting it in. Playing 80 minutes is making sure you don't unplug and you take these opportunities every time they're there. Seattle getting gifted a little bit here. They need it. But hopefully they can go ahead, win this ball, and get out, relieve some pressure.
Yeah, when we had a chance to talk with Toronto's staff, their assessment was they had played 8 halves of rugby. 4 were good, 3 or 4 of them not up to their standards. That was a golden opportunity that Seattle is fortunate to come away with here, Colin.
That's not going to touch. This is counterattack opportunity for the deep 3. They want to go ahead and move this ball away from the point it was kicked, but great kick chase by Seattle.
Here's Rumble dragging the defender. That's Duchel. Into the ruck. Brody takes a look. Nick Rogers was dropped there.
Matty, get out of there. Matt, mind your hands. Thank you.
Cole Keith gave it back.
That's a
shot.
Pretty skills. Quick ball. All skills, all players. Just through the hands. Oh, that is a shot and a half.
That was a huge shot by Rhino Herbst. He looked like a rhino.
Those are the ones where you swallow your mouthpiece. It's like, oh my God, what just hit me? What Mack truck is on the field?
Handled here by Ben Sema. Right back down she goes in the final minute here of the first half, and you just heard JP Doyle, last play of the half coming up here in a half that has been dominated by Toronto.
Taking a look, the 14 was just looking to come in there, and just a big hit By the lock, it looked like Herbst.
Yep.
But that's the whole thing. It's like reading these plays and coming and getting these shots in. Seattle needed to come out and try to be the aggressors. Nice steal.
Haddon got his big paw up on that. Seattle here. Final seconds of this first half. A goose egg on the board for the Seawolves to this point.
I mean, just look how much fight is there at the breakdown. It's not just enough to make the tackle, but they got the tackle getting up, making a mess of it. They got a supporting player there just fighting for the ball. That's all mentality, and that's the pressure that's been put on Seattle.
Handled here and trying to offload it there, but turned over. Toronto's got it. And they'll send it skyward, deeper inside the Seattle end. Blocked here and goes into touch, and that's going to be it for the first half of this match. Colin, a 24-0 lead for Toronto. They didn't have many miscues. They were pretty sharp in that first half.
Yeah, Toronto.
Team, okay? I won't yell at you. Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
Coming out playing great rugby at the beginning of the match. I mean, clinical execution on their set pieces. Their exit strategies are going well. I mean, Toronto's just looking really good, using a lot of block players, but it's awesome.
All right, one half in the books. We'll see you at halftime momentarily.
Hey, let's get into the top 5 tries of last weekend. So exciting. Had some incredible finishes. Let's start with numero 5.
Number 5, Andrew Duratolo, the man mountain, impossible to stop. A little shimmy there, the big number 6. Took 2 players to finally get him down, and they finally got him down over the try line, sadly, for Utah. Let's have a look at that. The little shimmy, and just putting doubt in the 15's mind enough for him to truck it over. Number 4 for the week, Manuel Montero for Toronto. It was late in the game. It was a consolation. He was tired. He did some great lead-up work himself and then was there to finish the job. You see now those tired legs pumping toward the end. He's going to have a little glance back to make sure that he's in the clear, and he was.
Look at him go.
A rare shining light for Toronto in that game. Number 3 for the week. Beautiful try to be on Besson. What a sexy try this was for San Diego. And the finish there, picking it up nicely. But the kick ahead from Cecil Africa. Watch this, off the left foot.
So good.
Boop, dinks.
Sexy, as you say.
It sits up perfectly for Besson. And he still did some work to do. That was number 3. And number 2 for Matias Freire for the Houston SaberCats. Little dummy from Povey. Another crossfield kick. We're seeing so many of these, Stacey. Out to Pangilinan and then back inside to Freire for the try. And what an instrumental try that was in their victory. 24-22 it was at the time. Look at that kick on the full. Didn't even break stride, and then inside pass, which was a miracle pass around the back, by the way. He had a lot to do, Pangilinan. And now, Stacey's favorite try.
Number 1.
Let's hear from her. Break it down for us, Stace.
Yes.
What happened here?
Oh, it's my pleasure. So watch this movement. Everybody on the same page. Mac Mason with the precision kick to who? Roderick Waters. And where was he? Exactly where he was meant to be. What a beautiful finish this was. And for the AGs, back-to-back wins. And this is just so fun.
Well, and it was a match winner, Stacey.
Yes.
This is why we picked it for number 1 as well.
That is why.
Right
Match
at the
winner.
death.
Lafayette Bank awarded Best Big Bank in Washington State by Newsweek. Open an account at WafaetteBank.com and bank like a Seawolf. So far in this match, it is all Toronto. They have come out razor sharp. And entering play today, Colin Hawley, as we have the first match, it's fair to say, I don't know there will ever be an earlier start time in MLR, but we are thrilled to be with you. We'll also have, you and I will be on the call, another game we're looking forward to tonight in the matchup between unbeaten LA and Houston, who had a big win last week. Thoughts on the standings from you early on here as we're now into round 5?
Yeah, it looks like the Giltinis right is the powerhouse. They got a couple massive names in the internationals, and Matt Giddo and Adam Cooper. But honestly, the product of rugby here is super competitive. Everybody's kind of trying to find their shape. Early days in the season, you're really trying to figure out, you get some early injuries, but now is really when the teams start trying to find their form and really vying for those playoff spots. So the intensity is cooking up here, and MLR is actually coming with the guns here today on this Saturday.
Yeah, and even without, of course, without the preseason, you know, the first couple of weeks, I think by week round 3 teams starting to find their grooves a little bit. The other matchups today, the national game tonight will be San Diego and Utah. NOLA and New England, they get going at 4 o'clock. That's a late start time, man. They're not going till 4 o'clock. And then our matchup we'll call tonight, Houston and LA, and Austin and Rugby ATL will go at 8 o'clock as well. A thought from you while we got a chance here on the other matchup we're going to have tonight on that one.
Yeah, Houston is looking to improve upon, their performances, having some big wins here. They just had a couple of injuries and things like that. They actually brought in Nick Boyer, who was man of the match last week for their squad. This guy comes in and adds a different element at 9. But, the Giltinis, they've just been decimating their opponents. I mean, it's really going to see how these teams in Houston's find their form to battle back a really impressive Giltini squad.
All right, so Toronto back onto the pitch here, and Chris Silverthorne's been kind enough to join us. Chris, an amazing start to this match. What's been the key in your mind for your club so far?
We just got some continuity going. We just got some phases. We built some phases early, and we got go-forward ball, and here we are. We had some success early.
It looks like you've been using the high balls. Seattle's been having a little bit of trouble dealing with those things. Are you going to go to the foot a bit more, or are you going to still rely on those blocking plays and continuity?
We want to play rugby in the right areas, and we will kick the ball away and make sure that we put them under pressure, kick the ball behind them, and make them attack us to go forward.
All right, another part of your game plan is playing a full 80 minutes. What did you tell the boys to make sure they maintain the pressure in the second half?
We can only hurt ourselves from here. Just keep going forward, make our tackles, get back up in the game, and keep playing the game the way we're doing it.
Chris, we appreciate.
Don't take the foot off pressure.
Excuse me, Chris. We appreciate your time.
Don't take the foot off the pedal.
Appreciate your time, Chris. Keep the foot down, and good luck to your team coming up in the second half of this one. Toronto all over Seattle. We'll see how the Seawolves respond once we get going. We come back after another timeout in the second half of this match here in round 5. Back right after this. Today's match is brought to you by Honda and by Seattle Southside. It's the perfect home base to explore the Pacific Northwest. Eat, play, and stay in Seattle's backyard. Visit seattlesouthside.com to learn more. Inching closer to the start of the second half as we kick off round 5, and 3 tries, Colin, from Toronto in the first half.
It's been all Toronto. You saw there a nice blocking play with 2 players going on, attacking the midfield, and just finding that spot ball out the back. I mean, it's a great run by Tukule. And then here we go, another midfield strike, the inside runner finding that ball, and then support on the outside, so pivotal in this game. Not only do you need the line break, you need the support on the outside to score the try. Toronto doing all the things they need to do to get right. And here it's just the 13, Lesage, breaking through the line, the big ball carrier. Look at the support. Both wings on the outside, and the 9 right there on the inside for a little get-up throw. He gets back up and places the ball down under the sticks. Toronto playing great rugby. They're executing. Their game management is great. They're getting inside Seattle territory, and they're bringing away the points.
And for Seattle, I mean, they have just had miscue after miscue. Where do you stand right now? What do they have to do to get back into this thing in your mind?
They're a little sleepy, right? I mean, the travel day's tough. They've had a couple injuries, but literally getting up and not having those turnovers off those box kicks, right? I mean, there was 2 there. There was another high up and under that was a turnover. They turned the ball over in a maul. They were at the goal line. They turned it over. So it's literally kind of focusing up and bringing that next level of focus and determination and clinical execution to get points on the board. You know, you got to run through the phases. Game management's a thing, but then also you got to come out there. You got to be aggressive. You can't play sleepy. So Seattle's got to wake up in the second half and really start punching.
And Seattle will get the ball to begin the second half here from Life University in Atlanta, Georgia. Just like you would have drawn it up, right? It's Toronto and Seattle playing in Atlanta, but all kidding aside, that is Colin Hawley. My name is Ben Holden with the former USA Eagle to my right, and all of our crew. It's great to have you with us wherever you're watching today. Root Sports up in the Seattle area. TSN2 up in Canada, and the Rugby Network around the globe. And for Seattle, a 24-0 hole. We'll see how things go here. How do you, as a player, and having played this game at the level you did, do you break it down in 15-minute increments, 20-minute increments? How do you do this here for Seattle for them moving forward?
You have got to put your head down for 40 minutes. You got to go to that dark place, you know, that closet in your head where it's just about physicality and domination, you know, dominating your opposite. It is the point in time where they say rugby's a tough game. It's you get up off the ground after your run, you get back up, and you keep on hammering in the rucks, you hammer the tackles, and you just lose your mind for 40 minutes. And you got 24 points to make up here. You got to do something. No self-preservation whatsoever. You empty the tank.
I love it. So here's Toronto with possession. They send it into touch.
And here we go, Toronto with the turnover right inside Seattle territory, and that's the whole thing. You've got to get out of your own end. You know, you're not going to go 80 meters against the Toronto team right now. You got to go ahead and have an exit strategy to kick this ball down the field so they don't get an easy beachhead in your territory just like this.
Here they go. McRogers sent it in. On the line out, they're trying to roll this thing in. McRogers has it. The red scrum cap, they spin it out, and this one deflected in Seattle.
But it's from a forward pass.
There you go. There's the word and the verdict from J.P. Doyle.
Nice turnover, but then again, I mean, Seattle doing a good job, or excuse me, Toronto getting that ball down. You saw what they were trying to do. They found a try on this play earlier. They drift the ball out with the ball carrier. You pull the defense out to the right, and you find that inside runner. Seattle getting smart and blocking that inside pass, but literally it's one of those things where Toronto's got all the weapons here. They're looking to use them.
Fifth all-time meeting between these two franchises, tied 2 apiece in the win column.
Take your heads off each other.
You got a split back line here, middle scrum, so you got options on both sides for Seattle.
That's just not at the right standard.
No, it's not.
He's been chatting to him all day in the engine room.
Any one of you now at this, because none of you are legal. So I can just choose one of the 6 here.
That'll put things in perspective, right? You hear that?
I know how good you guys are. Show it me.
Good picture. Good picture, boys. Good picture.
You're all in the doghouse. Let's start scrummaging.
Everybody.
All right.
He threw everyone under the bus.
Bind. Set.
Ferris.
1 meter. 1 meter. Use it away, 9.
There we go, Ferris out to the left.
There's the kick for Seattle.
And that's the exit strategy you're looking for. All right, you get it out to your 10, and then he goes ahead and pumps it to touch. He doesn't get a lot of territory on this thing, but it still relieves the pressure and, you know, isn't a turnover where Toronto's coming back in. You want more territory on that kick, but literally they get a reset, set their defensive line, and look to contest this line out and get a turnover.
McRogers. Arrows. Still in possession of it. Waiting there was the Seawolves defense.
18. Good man, well done.
To the back, trying to work into the middle a bit here is Toronto.
Oh, nice spot ball.
Well done. Tackle made there. Dug out of there by Rumble. Rumble played it on into the hands of Montero.
Roll away, leave it Seattle. Leave it Seattle, play hard to roll away.
Came out. Offload into the hands of Lesage.
Good tackle, no, it's a good tackle.
I think that was Turner, nice tackle.
Tyler Rowland. Not much materializing there. This is materialized right up the middle as Patrick Parfrey in between the posts, and Toronto makes them pay. And it's a 31-0 count here.
He went through the gap like Moses to the Red Sea.
Parting of the Red
Sea,
just
split up, and you know, nothing between him and the post. I mean, when you get a play like that, it's just like, holy crap, what just happened? And there we go, Toronto doing what they need to do. Take another look at this whole thing. It's just a skip pass where those 2 runners on the inside holds that interior defense. You see the 2 inside, and the internal defense launches up. That's why when you build your defense, it has to be built out 1, 2, 3, 4, calling out the men. So it's a numbers game right there. The numbers just didn't add up. a double skip pass out to the middle of the field, and there's nobody there for Seattle.
And Parfrey got the start at the number 12 this week there without Giuseppe Detroit.
Okay.
So that is a well-executed move by Silverthorne and his staff, getting him in, and it pays dividends. A 31-0 lead, and the Arrows get it back here, Con.
I mean, just to put in perspective, throwing a double miss pass on the goal line is pretty expansive rugby. Toronto is playing really, really great expansive rugby right now, and Seattle just, you know, is getting the back end of this whole thing. But here we go, Seattle in their territory, a chance to get something going.
And try to spin it free. 2 Arrows waiting there. Flipped onto the outside and turned over there. Ben Sema, you won't see him do that often.
For the 15. Straight line with me on the 15. Straight
Play
there.
advantage, Ferris looking to go ahead, play quick.
Set entry number 1 after the ruck was 1.
But look at Toronto's line, maintaining their defensive shape. They're in front of the ball. They got a line set. Nothing to go quick. So this is part of the game management that Andrew Duratalo, hope he's doing all right, was talking about.
Left in the first half of the match with some leg issues in his right leg.
Get into it. Take the 5.
Let's go.
Take the 5.
I mean, that intercept pass is just a flat line, right? I mean, without people running onto the ball, the defense has the opportunity to come in and step in that passing channel, and it's just too easy for Toronto to do that. Seattle needs to come from depth in their attack and run onto the ball so that doesn't happen.
Seattle. Maul never materialized.
And here we go. Great opportunity for Seattle. Get some points on the board and relieve this goose egg.
They need it. Duchel dropped inside of the 5-meter. Ferris.
Bit more space. Bit more space, please. Toronto, more space. Toronto.
Seattle close, knocking on the door. Denied here.
More space, boys.
Spun out, pulled out. Sema had it.
Offside.
And it was called offside on Toronto, though.
Oh, game management right here for Seattle. Even though they're 31 down, they still want to go ahead and manage the game well here. Slowing it down a little bit, finding their shape, making sure they have a good plan in place to go ahead and get this over the line. Turning territory into points is what they need to do right now, but here we go. It was offsides by Toronto. It looks like they were in front of the last foot of the ruck, and that's the offsides line. So Seattle gets another crack at getting over the line here. They need it.
They sure do. Down a bunch are the Seawolves. Came in 11th of 12 teams, with just 70 points.
Most positive people get rewarded.
More words of wisdom from our referee, J.P. Doyle.
Crouch.
Down.
Big scrum for Seattle here. They got to own this thing.
I'm on 10. Steady. Steady. Back.
Gonna take 2.
Number one, you clearly heard the whistle. You clearly heard the whistle.
What's that?
Don't push after the
Yeah,
whistle.
it was just my.
No,
I swear my
yeah,
hamstring was hampered.
Sure it was.
Swear, mate.
Yeah.
Cole Keith.
I swear, man, it's my hamstring. It was cramping. It's pushing me forward. Oh, that's some cheeky banter right there. I swear, man.
Good picture here. Let's go.
The youngster Cole Keith, just 23 years old.
Seconds on me.
It's just who's the most positive, lads.
Doyle was talking to there.
Down. 6.
You said, Colin, a big scrum here for Seattle.
Bind.
Steady. Steady.
When any thoughts of coming back in this thing, they need a try here.
There you go. Nice platform, Seattle. Look at the push go from the Seawolves.
Advantage.
Advantage being played for Seattle.
Yep. Spun out. Ferris gave it off. That should be good.
I'm so sorry. I was looking at 23 on top.
But Doyle is going to talk things over.
Thanks for the advice there.
Look at this.
No, it's too on the blind side.
Oh, looks like it was good.
Yeah, it sure
I
did.
apologize, lads.
So once a player goes to ground when he's tackled, he's got one movement, either back towards his team or forward to try and score a try like that. It looks like he got over it, but the ref wasn't paying attention. Unfortunate for Seattle, just nothing going their way. No amount of luck or good fortune.
Nothing at all, so they'll scrum this thing again here.
Coming, fucking go. Second.
Another look here.
So that's the one movement after the player goes down, and he just reached our line, dotted it.
That was Kieran Joyce, who did dot it. Seattle scrums it again here with Ferris. He'll trigger it.
Set. Hold there. Stay up. Stay square.
Keep going, boys. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, use it away now. It's going left. Use it away.
Came out.
Scrum's gone. Scrum's gone. Reset. Scrum's gone.
God.
Again, we'll engage here.
Great push by Seattle. A little bobble out the back.
Stay square on it.
I mean, how hard is Seattle trying to get over this line? They're putting everything into this, and sometimes you get games like this, you just got to go to that dark place.
Went that way. I'm giving you the benefit of that with no penalty. All right? Makes sense?
Veteran Tim Mesher.
Let's go. Time off. Time off.
I mean, just look at that going to the side. I hate to be in the front row of that thing pushing around the corner.
No, but your starting position.
This is the entry room. This is where the big boys go to work.
And then the ball.
That's Cole Keith getting some medical attention there.
Yep.
He is reaching for that hammy, the right hammy. He reached behind, so maybe he was telling the truth there.
Yeah, all good. All good?
You know, sometimes you pull a Mary, right? It's like, oh, trainer, hamstring. It's like, give your team a bit of time to go ahead and recover. Yeah. But, you know, he's probably got a hamstring thing going on. But
Cole Keith, just 23 years old, 16 caps in his career with Canada.
I've said the exact same thing.
Oh, he's going out.
He is going out.
I've said that to him.
Pat Lynott, product of the province of Quebec, takes his place for Toronto.
Fresh legs in the front row. You really don't want to do that until maybe the 60th minute. There's a whole strategy around getting your big boys off the field, getting fresh legs in there to finish the game. I think this might have been a little bit earlier than they would have liked.
Yeah.
But Toronto with a 31-0 lead looks like they can do that a little bit here.
So Seattle will do this one more time here.
Bind. Set.
Ferris puts it into the middle.
Loose head on the outside. Loose head on the outside.
All right, looks like we're going to go to the line out.
Yep.
Scrum time's over. Let's go ahead and go to the air.
16?
Right.
16, do you understand me? Yeah.
Oh, man, give the front boys a bit of a break. That was just brutal on both sides. Here we go, big Shep.
Yep, Mike Shepard.
Green loose head. Loose head.
So important right now for a hooker to get this thing on a rope. Straight to his jumper in the middle of the tunnel. The two lines that you're seeing right there, the ball's got to be thrown in the middle. Otherwise, it's going to be a turnover.
Right.
And there's that tunnel that we're talking about. The jumpers go in the middle and contest for this thing. Where the jumper goes up, that's the bit of the deception.
Here we go.
Over 15, line out over.
Well done.
That's one.
Seawolves have it. Shepard's got it in the back there, number 2. He's got it under his right arm. Trying to follow.
Stay behind, stay behind.
Oh, this is good.
Shepard still with it. Shepard to the line. He dots it down. Well executed out of that set piece. And Seattle, Colin, is finally on the board.
God, did they work for it?
They did.
I mean, they've been down there battling for the last 10 minutes. And Big Shepard, the voice like Fergie, the man who got bloodied first in this match, gets a great try. I mean, this guy has been on the grind of the front row forever. Played All-Americans with him for a long time. Just been in the system for forever. Great to see him get a try here, but it's well worked by the entire forward pack in Seattle. Just the maul was something Andrew Durtalo said that was a point of pride for them. They could actually make something happen in this game.
Yeah, sure.
They've been struggling in the first half, but possibly finding their form here at the second half. But that's what we talked about. To get back in this game, they've got to go to that dark place and grind out points, and they did that. Hopefully they get the response, you know, back into this match and they get more points on the board, but that's what they need to do to compete.
Benzema on, and Benzema sends the flag skyward, and it's a 31-7 contest. And You said it a couple times, a dark place. They went to it a few times in this possession, and they finally get rewarded.
Yeah, just getting in the engine room. There's Big Shep. Looks like he's getting a break. Got some gauze stuff in his nose. He got a scratch down the jawline, but you know, he did his job here in the first 54 minutes of this match. Won some lineouts, did his best, got a try, and now it's about the rest of the squad finding their form and getting over the line a couple more times here.
See if the Seawolves can do it. Down 24. Plenty of time left in this match, right? I mean,
oh, totally.
Tons of time left, and they need to execute here and get a second try here. To the outside. And
oh, wow, what a turnover.
Big time. Arrows have it back, spun back to Rumble. He gives it off. Offload there into the hands of De La Vega, and bobbled and goes into touch here.
Just right when Seattle gets a try, it's how the other team responds. So Toronto going back to their guns and owning that breakdown, that contact area, getting over the ball and getting a turnover right off that, it just kills the momentum, takes the winds out of your sails. That's exactly what you would want from your team and respond to a try scored against you.
And that's what happened to them 2-3 times in that first half, and they were inside of the 5-meter line in those situations. Saw 21 there for Toronto, Jason Higgins. Spin it back there, he's into the match, some speed here. Oh, wow, nicely done. Oh, that is beautiful. Taken in by Rogers. Two beautiful offloads for Toronto, and the Arrows come right back with 5 of their own, and it's 36-7.
That is just an impressive piece of rugby play right there. Continuity game, all skills, all players going out the outside. It comes from that turnover. Again, getting that pick off of the contact area. Toronto getting the ball back in Seattle territory, but look at that spot ball out the back, splitting 2 defenders. Now the one to beat on the backside, he pulls the defender inside, leaves the channel on the sideline open, and that's just beautiful rugby. Beautiful rugby by Toronto.
Jack McRogers, 22-year-old out of Newmarket, Ontario, suburban Toronto. Had a try in round 1 for the Arrows against Rugby ATL. And now you'll get Taylor Adams on here to try to make this a 31-point match again. And he does just that. And it's 38-7. So the Arrows stretching things out there. McRogers, the benefactor of those 2 beautiful plays by his teammates to work it in from short range and get the 5 and eventually the 7 back for the Arrows here. And the Arrows will get it back here.
3, 2, 1.
And to touch this goes for Toronto.
All right, now that's Seattle getting a kick down there. Toronto pumping out the touch, relieve the pressure so they're not stuck on their own end. Now Seattle's got their attacking platform.
Over 15.
In Toronto territory. Now they got to string together some phases.
They do. Carried there by Tommy Clark. Ferris. Scrum half for Seattle, working it free. Gets it back into the hands of Sema, who gave it off there to Matt Turner.
Good rumble by Turner right there, getting some go forward.
Sema again, got rid of it. The big boy padding. Seawolves into the hands now of Pelzer. Oh, wow. Intercepted beautifully read there by Manuel Montero.
We talked about the back line having to attack from depth and attack at pace. If it's a flat line across, it's easy for that defender to just step in that passing channel. They did it before, and you know, they stepped in again. They said, hey, if they're going to be flat, we're going to step in and take that ball away. Seattle's got it back.
Yeah, they got it right back on a turnover forced of their own. And now Ferris eyeing the back, gives it off. Handled there by Metcher.
Here we go.
Play the game. Territory game there.
So when you kick the ball and you're in front of your own 22 and it goes straight out of bounds, it comes back to the point in time where you kicked it. So that territory spot, it's a miss by, I think it was Seema there, put it on his foot. He put too much onto it, and it's just a turnover back where you kicked it. You got to keep that ball in bounds because it was trying to be a kick pass. Just too much leg on that guy, and that's another mistake.
Hydration break. Jack McRogers with a try here in the second half. He'll take a sip.
I'm sorry.
We'll step aside, come back right after this.
I was like, oh, no.
The 60th minute of this one, just out of our hydration break here from Life University in Atlanta, Georgia. Riekert Hatting there trying to get his guys rallied here, and it has not been their day. They got to try a couple of possessions back to get on the board, but as you said, partner, they had to really go to a dark place. They dug in and found it, but they can't withstand Toronto. They come right back over, a turnover, and Toronto puts one right back in the try zone.
Yeah, Seattle's been hard done a little bit, like a couple knock-ons here and there. You know, it happens in the game. The thing is, like, Toronto's playing really, really great rugby and capitalizing on every time they're in Seattle's end, getting some points. I mean, they're just playing really great rugby, and Seattle's making a few mistakes, but they've had opportunities, but just hasn't converted it. So it's just one team's playing really well, one team is, you know, having a little uncharacteristic mistakes, but hopefully in the last 20 minutes of this match, Seattle finds a bit more form.
Quite the ruck here we got going.
Just mind yourself. Use it away.
Adams, they're 10, got it out of there.
Roll away, Green.
Arrows looking to go back to work in the offensive part of their game.
Uh-oh, trouble here.
Yep, they're going the wrong way this time around. It's picked up by Parfrey, who's got a try here today, and they send it over the halfway line.
Counterattack opportunity here. You just love this. It's like a punt return. There you
Seattle with a forearm right there. Heavy shot delivered by City Tamavea. And the Seawolves continue the charge on.
That's what you need from these ball carriers, carrying the rock well and breaking tackles. Seattle needs more of that.
We sure do. Into the 61st minute of the match. 31-point lead for Toronto. They give it away, and Toronto over the halfway line. Can they get away? Broke one tackle, and a huge chunk of real estate. Toronto, now they're back into business. A little bit of space on the outside here. Seema tried to get the tackle. They offload it to Higgins, and Higgins dots it and puts it down, and Toronto made that look very easy as they take one in for another try here.
I mean, just like that, it's been the story of this match where Seattle's been threatening in Toronto territory, and just a turnover to the other side. Toronto gets in Seattle territory, and then they convert it to points. I mean, Toronto's just been putting on the pressure, and they've been playing well. They've been finding their runners, finding space. Support has been there. I mean, after each line break, they're getting their hands free and finding that offload, and those guys are scoring the tries. Toronto is playing great rugby right now.
Jason Higgins, the 25-year-old, product of Cork, Ireland, came in second in the league in try assist, but gets the try here. And Adams trying to make this a 45-7 match here. "60-second clock on," one of the law variations that was tweaked from 90 down to 60. Back in round one, flags are skyward, and it's 45-7 Toronto as we look back here at that scoring sequence.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
What a gift.
Step right through the passing lane. That's the big number 8, Diana. And he just rumbles through. The big man stretches his legs and high step it, but the support was there, moving to the outside. And look at that inside runner. A lot of times players won't chase the play like that, but Toronto has been doing all game. Nice tackle on the outside, but still the inside defense wasn't there to pick up that inside runner. Nice little pop on the inside. Try awarded to Toronto. They're doing all the little things that matter in the match to get this kind of a score line.
Very in sync, and Riekert Hatting, big chunk of real estate picked up there.
What's he done wrong? What's he done wrong? Tell me.
Toronto again with the ball, but a whistle here from J.P. Doyle, our referee.
He came in, he blocked it back.
Yep, there you go. It's going to be Seattle maintaining possession of the ball here.
We'll go back for a penalty here. All right. First of all, you're not going to scream at me. Second of all, when you're screaming at me, when you're completely wrong, you look more of a fool, right? It's open play. Guy tackled and he blocks the ball backwards. Yeah. So 4, come here. 4, didn't dismiss you. You have 2 options. You either find a way
School is in session.
or we get rid of you.
Right.
Okay.
You can choose. I'm going to do a penalty against him for screaming at me.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
J.P. Doyle.
Behave yourself.
To
I leave the
Rhino
pitch.
Herbst. Product of
I
Johannesburg.
warned you in the first half.
So that's one of the things, you get on the bad side of the ref, and, you know, in the first, like, what was it, 15 minutes of the match, he's like, hey, you're annoying me.
He did. It might have been the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He laid down the law quickly. I mean, but as a player, though, I mean, do you prefer that?
I mean, you let the captains talk with the ref. That's the part of team discipline. It's not your job to go ahead and communicate to the ref, and having little chippy comments on the side, that just shows a little bit of ill discipline on them's part. Maybe a young player, he's frustrated obviously with this scoreline, but still tighten up the lip. You got to play. You got more of a match to play here, and you got to get back in this game. You can't worry about the referee. Worry about making your tackles, getting over this ball, and getting over the try line.
Play the game. Here comes Mirez again. Gave it off, and a nice shot there. They get it back, but they bobble it. And Seattle's got possession of it now. Nearly another sterling play off that far sideline, that far touchline from Toronto.
Well, that's better defense from Seattle. You see how they crowded those passing lanes, the passes back inside? You've got to get in front of that inside runner from that support line, and that's what they got to do to combat that.
Hold it, come here.
Toronto with it again. Adams spins it to Mirez. Tackled there, Mirez though. Right back up, carries on. Ferris, that's my ball.
It's obviously being touched.
He's the terrier going out there. He's like, 22. Give me that pill.
22? Wait, 22, Toronto. When you're in touch, just drop the ball. Don't make my life harder.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. If we were giving out stars of the game, I know we give a man of the match out. That's obviously going to go to a player. But J.P. Doyle's been right up there.
Yeah.
Been on his game here today. The line out, knocked away by Toronto. Well done by the Arrows, using that elevation. They have forced so many turnovers as McRogers has it. Took down Duchel with him.
Well done, Seattle. Well done.
Metcher in there on the tackle as well.
Onside winger.
Up into the air.
Oh, wow.
Knock on.
Yep, knock-on's going to be called here. It went into the hands there of Montero, but the whistle halting play.
Well, you've got Montero, and he looks off like 6'3", and you got Matt Turner, and maybe he's, you know, pushing like maybe 5'9" there, but they were hoping that he'd get up over the ball and get this pill over the top. It's not a bad option, but that's what Toronto's doing. They're playing expansive rugby, trying to hit a kick pass in the corner and take advantage of these mismatches. I mean, it's just great awareness by this squad.
To your point on Montero, he's 6'4" and 240. 27 caps in his career with Argentina for the 28-year-old.
Get on the outside. Get on the outside.
The guy's an absolute unit, very dangerous on the outside there. Turner did a great job of putting his body in between and making him force a knock on there, but that is a match that they want to go ahead and put that ball up in there and compete. Here's Ferris.
Ferris, yep. Plays it in.
Oh, wow.
Can't get to it, and Ferris, a little forearm shiver there. He's taken down. Good tackle made right in the middle of the pitch. But the Arrows, with a 45-7 lead, have possession of it again.
Oh, wow. Just a kick and catch there. I don't know if he was trying to do that, but it worked out for him.
Sure did. Everything's going their way. Wow. Everything.
He's sort of half up.
Looks like a knock on. It's going to be Seattle's ball. But
yep. Yep. So you've got a bad picture now, haven't you?
Was that better?
No, worse.
Worse, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you're if you're finding you're driving on the outside of his ribs and his hip, you're probably on the outside. So you got to get those two shoulders pointing at that bleacher.
I'm with you, Patty.
Always teaching.
So a big part in the front row here is driving straight through. Any kind of angle coming in, it's going to be a disadvantage for the other squad. So he's really monitoring how Toronto's entering in the scrum. They've been kind of going at angles and, you know, keeping this part of the game, you know, structured and going straight forward. It's a tough thing to do. There's a lot of mischief going on there in the front row. It's hard to kind of keep it in touch. But
so if you go across to protect yourself, it puts me in a hard place. Okay. All right.
It's a place where I have never played in the 15s game. It looks like a pretty miserable place for most folks. But these big boys in the front, this is what they do. It's a point of pride. You know, you got the baby rhinos in front just knocking heads, and, you know, this is the platform that sets up the rest of the game, and you got to win it.
Setting the tone, setting the tempo. Scrum here for Seattle. Devereaux Ferris, the 26-year-old New Zealand native.
Guys, just a little higgly-piggly, that one.
Higgly, piggly. That is one I'm putting in the vocab bank right now.
We'll go to a second scrum.
Piggly.
Come on.
Here we are, OB, let's go.
You know, if JP Doyle wants to go back and watch this game, he puts together a tape, he'd be a star on YouTube.
I got you. Crouch.
Down.
What do you see that's Piggly Wiggly there?
Side. You know, he's been having issues right here all game, saying both sides aren't staying legal. You know, you got some different angles there, shoving in from the side. You know, in Toronto, it's just been tough days in the front row in the engine room there.
Miscue again here, booted there by Parfrey.
Wow.
Offload there. Here comes Toronto again.
Jesus.
Wainwright was dropped there.
Just an attacking onslaught from Toronto. One little missed pass, and the defensive pressure is there in the turnover, but Seattle lucky to get that turnover. But the pressure, like the coach said in the beginning of, you know, at halftime, just keeping on the pressure, and they've done that.
Well, and that was a theme. I'll get to that after we look back here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the pressure of the defense. Looking at the entire Toronto squad, still on their feet, still on their toes on the front foot, getting there in support. You know, it's a good turnover there from Seattle, but the pressure still being applied by the Arrows.
And that was a theme, Colin, that Toronto had talked with us about earlier in the week. The matches they've played, they've had half good, half bad, playing that full 80 minutes, and they still got 10 to go, but they have done that with flying colors here today.
Well, after their match from the Guiltinis, you know, they're pretty upset that they put together a full 80 minutes. This is a point of pride here to show that this team can. We're kind of going through the season. We have a couple matches. Now it's time to find our form, pull the full 80 in. So this is a big game for Toronto. And conversely, Seattle making a few uncharacteristic mistakes after a big win against Utah. So both teams kind of finding form in different ways.
Yeah, just stay there, 18. You're okay.
Seattle, a franchise that's won the only 2 MLR championships that have been awarded in 18 and 19. And Toronto, who in 2019 went 11-5 and 4-1 before COVID shut it down last year. Here's a chance for Hatting, and he's dragged down by the jersey there on the tackle from Higgins. And Toronto strips it out of there. Well done there by Gaston Mirez.
And again, Seattle doing a good job. Turner, break it down the sideline, getting that inside pass back into Hatting. But support's got to be there. It's just got to be there. You got to blow up that ruck. You know, those Toronto all day has been over the top, getting steals, getting picks. You got to know that you got to get on your horse. You got to get there.
I just can't have the elbow lift.
Tackle here in the finish from Ben Sema there.
The penalty there, right? The elbow lift. When you're wrapping the guy up around the legs, you're not allowed to take his hips up and dip him down. When you lift your elbow up, like you're taking him up and trying to drive his top into the ground, that's an illegal tackle here. So keeping this whole thing clean, no lifts and drives, keeping the top part of the head safe. That's all a part of the tackle contest here. Take another look. Oh, this is before. These are some hits that are happening here.
You want to play rugby, huh?
It's been absolute car crashes here on both sides. Physical matches from these players, and there's another little shoulder rub. You know, that's the AC joint right there. You get topped and you hit that angle. Anybody who's played rugby knows how bad it is getting that AC separation. You know, grade 3s and 4s. You got these horns sticking out of your arm, out of your shoulders. It's just part of the game.
Just right there, 19.
Rhino Herbst that you saw before the restart there was feeling the pain of this match, and always a physical affair, always physically challenging to these athletes. And Toronto, you mentioned that match last week, got into trouble early in the second half of the match, gave up 21 straight points to LA. We will see LA and Houston, you and I, in our second match. Double duty for us today.
Wow.
And thrilled to be a part of it. To the outside now.
What a set piece by Toronto. You know, it was a loop and a pass and a spot. There's a couple things going on there.
Yep.
Just trying out some things deep in the attacking menu there to see, hey, can we pull this thing off? Yeah, why not?
Played through the try zone there by Seattle into the 73rd minute. Here's a look at that menu they just ran.
Switch back inside. You got the outside center running in, but the fly half looking to attack on the outside with the fullback and wing. It was definitely complex. That's how complicated it can get in those set pieces. It can be a straight 10 to 12 or a little misdirection and deception. When you're up like this, you can go ahead and pull out the big guns and try a little bit more flair than you normally would.
Bind.
Jason Higgins, a second half try.
Set. Stay up. Stay off the ground.
Start the scrum here for Toronto. Higgins. Nice fake there. That was Adams. He faked out Seema there. And Rumble trying to rumble his way over the try line.
Strong run.
Right there. Nothing yet.
Goal line. Goal line. It's okay. Let it come. Goal line. Goal line, boys.
There's the ball and a heavy shot. And over the line, and it is put down there. And the Arrows cash in again.
That's kick. Take a minute.
With a spirited effort there at the end.
You're a tackler. You got to come off it.
To dot it, and they put a 50 spot on the board here late in the second half of this match.
I mean, that's just the big boys going to work in the engine room.
Cortez.
Yeah, Gaston Cortez coming in here with the 18 jersey, 5'11", 240.
Yep.
I mean, the guy's got experience to boot, but it's just literally Seattle having to go ahead and step on the line and put in these big tackles with these big runners. It just looks like Toronto's been the aggressors. They've come with more passion, more energy, more physicality, and just getting over the line like that.
Taylor Adams is true, and the flags go up, 52-7. Cortez came off the bench this week. They started at the tight head spot, Tyler Rowland, but here's a look at his try coming in here to get the job done.
So Seattle right there, you see the two defenders, the pillar and the A spot. They just got to get their pads lower. Cortez, you know, an experienced rugby player, he just gets his body low and pumps his pistons, you know, over the line. You got to get low. You got to meet them. You know, it's guts and glory down there. You got to get your pads low. You got to stop that on the ground floor before they can stretch it over.
5 caps in his career with Argentina. He's one of 4 Argentinians that Toronto signed. They're obviously, as we know, loaded with Canadians, but they've got that flair, those Argentinian players, and some power from a guy like Cortez, not just all about flair and finesse. Nice play to the outside. Here's Riekert Hadding. Hadding trying to break free. They come in from behind. Ferris gets it out of there. Ferris gets it back, spins it into the middle. On the hop, it's played by the Seawolves. It was Mongoloa that took it. Advantage, and it's Seattle with the ball.
And that's better from Hadding. He took that ball, he had a nice run, maintained possession, they got it back out to him on that short side. That is the 8 that we know and love from Hadding, and finding his form here in the last bit. But you know, that's the difference of the match, of him having moments like that versus the knock-ons. Better from him now at the end of this match, but definitely something he's going to want to improve upon later.
So the Seawolves here just
give yourself room.
Shy of the 5-meter line. They'll have the line out here. Norkia wearing the 16. Into Hadding. Down it comes. Into the rolling ball of the Seawolves.
Keep going, yeah, keep going. Keep going. I'm good here.
You hear Hatting directing traffic, and there is that man. You talked about him a couple of hours ago, Rumble, who comes away with it for Toronto.
The guy is an absolute ball hawk, dominating.
How about that backhand offload there? Toronto, get it free. Again, get it free, and it's turned over and into the hands of the Seawolves. I believe that's Turner back there with it.
It's a rock class.
Turner, experienced international, doing what he needs to do to get inside of that. He's been playing well all game here, trying his best to make something happen for his Seattle Seawolves squad, but you know, too little, too late, I'm afraid.
Coming up on the 78th minute in this match. All Toronto. They were losers last week, 43-16 in round 4 against the undefeated LA Giltinis.
It's in his hand. Use it away.
And they've done what they had done to them last week, dominated in this match on their way to their second win in 2021. Seattle's going to have to regroup. They're playing their first 5 matches on the road this season to start. They'll have a heavy second half at Starfire Stadium, but this game has just not went anywhere near the way they wanted it to today. It's been a nightmare for him. Duchel with it.
See how,
by Parfrey there.
See how quickly Toronto was over the ball? They just got that turnover. Support was just too late. It's been the theme of this game. Seattle's been late to the breakdown, and Toronto's gotten turnover after turnover in their own end and converted to points. That right there is the difference.
Typified it right there. I mean, easily double-figure turnovers they've forced in this match today. They've been clinical. Into the ruck. Played by the Arrows. Toronto into the middle of the pitch.
Rumble.
He's rumbling all right. 2 still tied up there, face down in the turf to the outside. Higgins was effective over there earlier in the second half with a try.
Calm down. Stop. Stop. Stand up. Calm down. Okay. Just hold on.
I held him up.
Easiest penalty in the world for not rolling there. The one over there, Matt was in the way. That's why he didn't get it, okay? Easiest penalty for not rolling here.
So those folks at home watching this, when you make the tackle, right, that ball needs to be played by the attacking team. So if that defender just lays on top of it, it's slow ball, it's going to slow down the game, it's just a mess. He has to roll away from that on his own accord and get out of the way. It's his responsibility. If he gets stuck there, it's still a penalty. So it's on his responsibility to roll away, just getting dinged there. And Toronto with a great attacking platform at the 5-meter.
Over 15.
It's like a little bit of a knock on there. Toronto going to the back of the line out. Just a little bit of mis-execution of the transfer there. And Rumble looking like he's got a little bit of a limp going.
Stay up.
Big day for him.
Played great, leading the Toronto charge.
Coming now.
Don't fall on the outside.
Coming.
Issue with that left leg, but he'll play on.
Stop. Come with me. Big one. Perfect. Come here.
Crouch.
Down. Sit.
Bind. Set.
Squeeze.
Stay up.
On the back, on the back.
Ferris plays it in.
Oh, wow.
Hear that one a mile away is Hatting.
Neck roll. You're on his neck.
That's Rumble in there, a little too much out of him.
And again, another penalty from Seattle. That's their second neck roll penalty. They've had a high tackle penalty. Just
Toronto. And at the try line.
Moving around too much.
There's the word.
Game.
And that's the match. And Chris Silverthorne and the Toronto Arrows, after a 43-16 defeat a week ago, improved to 2-3 with a 52-7 win. Convincing and thorough win over Seattle here today, Colin.
There's no better motivator than a shellacking the week before to get your team fired up for the next match. I think that was the difference here for Toronto. You saw it in the first 3 minutes of the match. They came out on fire. There's no way they were going to get pumped again on another week in the MLR. They came out, they played amazing rugby, they executed, they converted territory to points, and Seattle, unfortunately, made uncharacteristic mistakes, and Toronto's defense held strong. They played an 8-minute match, and it was absolutely brilliant by the Toronto Arrows.
All right, we'll step aside, take a timeout, come back as we'll wrap this one up. A big win for Toronto over Seattle. All smiles today, Colin Holly, as Toronto gets its second win of the season. They just throttled Seattle 52-7. The Arrows lead the all-time series in this rivalry, 3 victories to 2. And our man of the match today, a second half try for the pride of St. John's, Newfoundland, Patrick Parfrey. Patrick, what a win for you guys. What was said before this match, because you guys came out razor sharp from the start.
Well, all week we tried to just get the little things right. We wanted to work on our defense, which is really good today, and then we want to just hold on to the ball and build phases, which we did. So the things we worked on in practice, we brought to the game. So we're pretty happy with the team performance.
It looked like you guys dominated the breakdown. Support was there, but even every single contact area, you guys were over the ball. Was that something you guys talked about? Because you guys definitely got the turnover ball many times there.
Yes, it's definitely a thing we're working on every week. In our first week of the season, we were pretty poor at the breakdown, so we're trying to keep building on that, and especially the forwards, they're bringing that into each of their skill sessions, and they did a fantastic job this week.
Yeah, and also on your continuity game in open play, you guys were running a bunch of spot balls, inside runners, double skip passes. Talk a little about your menu in open play, because you guys were absolutely firing on all cylinders there on attack.
Yeah, it was a good work by our coaching staff and our attack group, kind of seeing what Seattle brought, and we think we have good attacking backs, so we try to get them in space and have support on each side to watch out for that blitz defense. So it was executed great this week, so hopefully we bring it forward to another week.
Yeah, you guys look great, Pat. Thanks for doing this, and obviously the early start time didn't affect you guys, man. You guys look great all day. Go celebrate with your teammates, and we appreciate the time here today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Pat Parfrey of St. John's, Newfoundland, and he had a big second half for them coming off the bench and added a try in the second half. And the numbers in this one, well, they don't lie, as Toronto was just absolutely thorough. And the moving pictures all in favor of the Toronto Arrows as they start round 5 here with a big-time win over the Seattle Seawolves, 52-7. Their second win of the season. For the former Eagle, Colin Holly, my name is Ben Holden, all of our crew. Hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of the day in MLR. Colin and I will have LA and Houston, and we'll be on the call that one later tonight.